Folks, we're talking baseball. Now, before you click away, I'm going to give you a good reason to stay. We're discussing how these luckily are your father's Yankees. I'm talking the 2000s Yankees, and have a chance to really make a run Yankees. Because how you win may be the most important factor in determining what the rest of your season is going to look like. And I'm breaking down the parallels from the 2009 team and how the essence of this new roster compares and looks staggeringly different than what we thought we were going to see coming in and have come to expect. So let's jump into it. Look, we know it's early. We know they're not handing out rings in week 1 of the MLB season, but this roster is entirely different than I thought it would be after looking at it on paper in the offseason. And that's going to be encouraging as hell to Yankees fans who, as far as I'm concerned, were not feeling very optimistic when you get news that Cole and Judge are going down so early in spring training, or what Aaron Boone is calling mid-season banged up at the time for Judge. When you couple that with the fact that they didn't make any significant moves, getting a stud pitcher in the offseason, missing out on Yamamoto, not being able to bring back Jordan Montgomery, and ultimately flirting with Blake Snell, but not getting him in the building. There's about 5 things that we can't ignore, and we have to assess and call it like it is. The first thing is that Aaron Judge didn't play very well in that first 4-game series against the Astros, and yet every other player essentially rose the best version of themselves and comfortably compensated for the lack of production by Judge. He looked pretty uncomfortable at the plate at times, but there wasn't any fear from the rest of the guys in the dugout. And if you were a fan of the team last year and any years before, you must have been sitting at home looking at that game thinking, if this was last year, if Aaron doesn't hit, we are absolutely screwed. And you did not see that from the guys on the field any of the 4 days. I can assure you that Yankees fans didn't feel the dread or the fear that they typically feel when Aaron Judge takes a step back for a weekend. Number 2, Juan Soto may be the best baseball player I have ever seen in my life. He is Patrick Mahomes. He is LeBron James in terms of his professionalism, confidence, and overall ability to take over a franchise and change it for the better ultimately. One of the rarest things in baseball that you'll ever see is a single guy dominating and changing the direction on both sides of the ball in the way that you see what Juan Soto has done for that lineup and franchise. I have never seen anything like it, but that's why I'm comparing it to the likes of Mahomes or LeBron, who can just flip the switch and you're going in a complete different direction than you thought you were going. And that is so invaluable in baseball. Juan uses pitchers like chess pieces, just toying around with them in the box, chirping at the umpire when he doesn't like his carefully crafted strike zone that he always seems to be perfectly on about. He baits runners into testing him on the base paths and ultimately always has the last laugh. As you saw with him closing game 1 of the Houston Astros with that incredible play from across the field to home plate. Juan brings a new energy and enthusiasm that has rippled through every level of the team. The bullpen is amped. Young dudes are flexing their muscles in the outfield. Young dudes are adopting his routine in the cage. Dudes in the field and on the mound are bouncing up and down in ways you don't see the traditional Yankee buttoned up franchise do. He is not only electrifying, a transformative talent and dude for that team. There is no signing in the history of the world a bigger no-brainer than the New York Yankees signing Juan Soto. On to number 3. Taking the next step for Cabrera and Volpe, unbelievable and hopefully sustainable surprise. Cabrera's adoption of Soto's hitting routine in the cage has transformed this team's offense. Cabrera has credited watching every little thing that Juan does behind the plate so that he can apply it to his game. And that absolutely gives the Yankees another level of versatility that we are not accustomed to seeing. With Cabrera being able to hit all over the lineup and play all over the field, his versatility as a utility guy can potentially now translate to behind the plate. And I think that's going to make the Yankees much more dangerous than people expect. You absolutely can't ask more than a dynamic fielder like Volpe or Cabrera being able to turn it on and be confident behind the plate. And Volpe not extending the zone like the scouting reports were saying. Seeing a Gold Glover potentially put it all together with the bat is going to make a massive difference. The fourth takeaway after these first few games is that the offense is not nearly as top heavy as recent years and what we've come to expect. Wells, Verdugo are a nice addition to a more balanced, not only power lineup, but Soto turning the ball to opposite field when necessary in clutch situations, seeing something similar from Gleyber Torres, that makes a difference. There wasn't a point after games 1 and 2 where you didn't feel like the Yankees couldn't come back, which is the biggest thing that is reminiscent of the 2009 Yankees. They would often fall behind and find ways to beat you many games throughout the season. It was very fun to watch. Situational hitting is what has beat the Yankees in the past, especially in the postseason, and now they seem to be able to create their own formula and version of that, and that has to be encouraging competitively going late into the season. Now, the final call out is almost always going to be about pitching. Number 5, starting pitching and health will always be the biggest question marks of this team. The Yankees simply can't seem to get away from that, especially with the ace Garrett Cole going down for what looks like 60 days, if not more, and the volatility of Rodon and Stroman in the starting lineup. There's still a chance that you don't know what you're going to get night to night from that starting rotation, and that's not a place that you want to be weak. But this is something that's plagued the Yankees for a while. And lastly, I'm not happy with the way that Nestor Cortes looks as a starter. It's becoming slightly concerning already, and there is no doubt room for improvement in that 5th spot in the rotation. We know the bullpen's going to hold their own without healthy, versatile guys in the lineup, top to bottom, and reliable starting pitching. That's the reason you don't write the ticket to the American League Championship game. Leave me your feedback in the comments. Always appreciate a like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.